Welcome to the Exit 50A podcast, a show about pop culture, tech, politics, and anything else they can come up with.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Exit 50A podcast. Back with you for another episode. Derek and Rob with you along for the ride. But, Rob, we are missing somebody.
Yeah, we are MIA. Kaz is MIA this week on the good old studio show. But it's for good reasons, Derek, because he is he's anchoring our live coverage from the good old Rio Olympics. We spent all expenses. We used our entire budget of zero, and he's risking life and limb, but he's going to be giving us, I'm sure, like bro call like coverage from the 2016 game. So we'll be checking in with him a little bit later on.
You go down to Rio, you're risking a lot more than that. You're risking your digestive system. You're risking a lot of stuff.
Because you can't battle the Zeke. We talked about it on other shows, man. The Zeke is real. You know what I mean? And now it's kind of here in the States. That's the weird thing, dude. It's like, so they had the CDC guy on, Thomas Frieden or something like that, came on, and they're showing like this heat map behind him of like states with like Zika cases. And I think there's only like 3 states that didn't have anything. And that's because basically like nobody would ever go there. And I don't want to insult states and like that, but we're all going to be facing our own kind of Olympic Games back here. You know what I mean? It's going to be
the Hunger Games are coming.
It's going to be like, I mean, what is that? It's going to be our own Game of Thrones that we're going to be having back here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to widespread Zika virus shows on television. In fact, one bit of advice I heard today, avoid mosquitoes. And I was like, really? Like, that's the best advice you have, to avoid mosquitoes. Like, it's a choice for you to deal with mosquitoes.
I don't know how you do that, man. I don't know how well, I know how I do it. I stay inside with air conditioning. You know, I don't usually go too far out of my house and roam too far. But yeah, it's a tough time.
Well, Rob, you mentioned hot maps and states, things like that. That's going to lead to a discussion we're going to have here in a second. But before we get there, I just want to remind everybody, if you are listening to this show for the first time, we are out there in the social media universe.
Hit it early, man. That's it.
We are on Twitter, Exit 50A Podcast. Again, Exit 50A Podcast. You can check us out on Twitter. We tweet all kinds of interesting articles and comments and things. I got some heat this week from people. Well, I posted a picture of Clint Eastwood.
I know. I saw that. They're going to blow up on us.
Yeah, and some folks had some opinions on that picture, saying, you know, because I said, this is how I choose to remember Clint Eastwood, and it was a gif of him as Dirty Harry.
What was the whole deal with the whole Clint Eastwood thing? Like, how did that? What went on?
Well, basically, Clint Eastwood said we need to get over ourselves, and this is a P word generation.
Oh my God!
This is a clean podcast, so I won't say.
Yeah, you can't use that word on the podcast.
Yeah, so that's why that came about. That discussion came about. And then people are tweeting at us like, he was a racist cop in those movies. Like, dude,
God, come on.
This is a pop culture discussion about Dirty Harry. This isn't about, like, racial matters in America, at least with that gif. Like, I understand. But Clint went a little bit too hard to the paint and said that, you know, he doesn't.
You're going to bring it to sports, but go ahead.
Yeah, but he more or less said we need to get over these thoughts of racism and things like that. Get over racist comments. And he's basically supporting Donald Trump.
Oh, boy. Well, there's a shocker, right?
Yeah.
There's not too much of a shocker going on there.
Yeah, what a surprise. But so, yeah, things are, as they say, popping in the neighborhood on Twitter for us at Exit 50A Podcast.
That's awesome, though. But now, so we also had some show stats. So some inside baseball here. Well, first we'll share some inside baseball now. If I sound a little tired, it's because I am. You know what I mean? It was a school night that yours truly kind of went out on a school night, which I don't usually do anymore. Met up with some friends and had a few adult beverages. We want to say a major shout out to the good old Sweetwater Brewing Company. Hello. In good old Atlanta, Georgia, of all places.
What?
Yeah, dude. So my buddy just picked up the variety pack, and we sort of sampled a lot of the variety, and I want to thank Jeffrey for that. But we were all over the place. They made actually some pretty good stuff, a couple IPAs and all like that. But like I said, it was a school night. I was out way too late than I should have been. But nonetheless, I'm well rested, and we are going to make this podcast one of the best. But nonetheless, I digress. So, speaking of the podcast, we're also big, not only, well, we're not really that big yet, but we get to see basically who's downloading this damn show. And we get to see kind of what states really need some psychiatric attention. And Jonesy was nice enough to kind of, give us a report this past week to kind of show us what states and where we are. And Jones, we're kind of capturing the nation, wouldn't you say? Is that a way to put it in a nutshell?
I think that's a fair statement. I feel like we are capturing the attention of this country.
Let's delegate count. Was the delegate counts up?
Yeah, this is just basically like the delegate count, except I don't have crazy Bernie Sanders protesters. Yeah, I'm getting to you folks, by the way, later on in the show, if I remember it, because you all need to be putting time out. Anyways, so let's go through a roll call here and give a shout out to some of the states so far.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you. We really mean thank you. We will send you a case of Sweetwater IPA or something.
Yeah, 420. I mean, you name it, I had it.
Jeez.
So I can let you know, it isn't, we're doing this podcast on National Beer Day. So, maybe I celebrated a night early. I'm always, a little early to that game.
Well, if you're not going to celebrate tonight, I'll celebrate for you.
Amen, brother.
So thank you to the good folks of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Georgia, New York, Maryland, Virginia. We're going all over the contiguous United States here.
Yeah, we're East Coast, man. It's so far we're on that East Coast side.
Kansas, now in the Midwest.
Oh, look at us! Look at us! This is big. I feel like this is NCAA pool brackets.
Ohio, Rhode Island, Delaware, Massachusetts, California, and Washington D.C. We're doing it.
I can't even imagine. Like, what's next for us? I mean, like we've hit our zenith. We've peaked already.
Oh, no. I'm looking at a map right now, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, we have a live update. We've got a live update of the map.
Well, not a live update,
Let's
but
go to the map.
But we need to put some heat around the world.
Okay.
The world is next.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a lot of heat when the Zeke comes here. But go ahead. The world is next.
That's my challenge. I want this to be heard in Brazil.
Yes. Wow.
I want the people of Brazil to hear what we're talking about.
We're doing such a great job for their tourism.
Yeah, we're not helping.
Exactly. We're using, Brazil and the Zeke and talking about like bowel movements and stuff like that. I don't think necessarily that Rio is going to actually, have us over for
No,
for a tour.
we probably won't be. And in fact, if we do get an invite to Brazil, we might decline it just on site because that might be a trap.
We're definitely declining it.
I've seen that in movies before, and it doesn't end well.
Yeah.
So we are expanding, and we are going to conquer the world at some point.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad we have high hopes, right? The best part is about this podcast, we came in with such low expectations, and next thing you know, the three of us, because we're so damn anal retentive, now we have expectations. So it's kind of double-edged sword.
Now it's out of control. I've spent nights at some point like looking at.
Well, your nights roll into mornings, bro.
Yeah, I've seen the sun come up a couple of times in the last month.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of disturbing.
Not the best of ideas, but yeah. Look, thank you to those who have downloaded the show so far. Also, you can check us out on SoundCloud as well. We have some unique SoundCloud-only content on there if you want to check that out too. So just search Exit 50A Podcast on SoundCloud, and you can find us there. And we have actually a couple of things, I think, coming in the next week. Pokemon Go.
Nice.
The series. I think we're going to split that in a little bit of a two-part series as well.
I like the DNC commentaries up there. So last week, the Exit 50A Podcast, when DNC was in there, because we're based out of the Philly area here. So Derek took his reporting crew and shout out to the crew there. Went to the Democratic National Convention interacted with a bunch of freaking mixed nuts there.
Oh my
And
God.
you know what I mean? Got some pretty decent audio, and so that's up on SoundCloud. Check that out.
Yeah, and it's pretty wild. Some of the content, to be honest with you, is probably not suitable for families.
No, it is not.
At least one
It's not
comment on
suitable.
there was definitely not suitable for
No.
family. I'll just say the word sodomy, and you'll be able to
Yeah,
figure out the
yeah.
rest.
And how about the one, the one, and I don't want to give it too much. I don't give it away at all. But how about the one woman that said she's with some coalition to throw rigatoni at the president?
Yeah, it was the same woman.
Yeah, what was that about?
I think
Why rigatoni of all of the pastas out there?
I don't know. I saw
The ridges, is there ridges on rigatoni?
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. We may have to go to our rigatoni expert.
Yeah, do we have? Can we get the interns on this podcast to look up the why rigatoni, and give us all about rigatoni?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'll have to put Kelly Green on that. She's
Let's get our intrepid reporting team
Yeah,
on
yes.
the rigatoni of 2016.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. I saw a video of that interview. I mean, the lady looks just crazy coming off the front. I mean, she just looks, it's got that wild look in her eye.
Oh yeah, well, do we have video? Can we post that on our Twitter feed?
I'll have to see. Yeah, I think I can obtain a portion of the video. It does not include the sodomy reference, but
then I don't want to watch it. Then. I'm just kidding. Then why bother? If you can't get sodomy on a good Twitter account and a feed once in a while, then why bother waste 140 characters?
But while we're talking about this, I just want to say something here real quick. The most unbelievable thing, and that was a great event, just to be a part of, because it was done. Forget about who you want to win the election or whatever, but it was inside. Once you got to the actual event, it was put together well, and a lot of people were so nice. The cops in Philadelphia were great. However, let me say this. And I guess the only way I can explain this is in sports terms. If the Golden State Warriors, flew to Cleveland after they lost the NBA Finals.
Okay.
I'm
with you so far.
To protest that the Cavs had beaten them in the NBA Finals, that would basically be the equivalent of what happened through the first 2 days of the DNC with Bernie Sanders supporters.
Oh, really?
I was getting yelled at and blamed by Bernie Sanders supporters and protesters.
Why were you getting blamed?
I walked out of the.
You had that shirt on that said "Down with Burn." No, not down with the burn.
I guess maybe I had it on. I didn't realize it, but I walked out of the media entrance off of SEPTA, and people are just yelling at us like, "You did this. This is fix it."
Because you're the big bad media.
Yeah,
that's kind of like pushed Hillary.
Yeah, I need to fix this. Like, man, you better take the bass out of your voice. Number one. Number two, I didn't do this. They overran the event. Take the duct tape off your mouth.
Yeah.
Get up and deal with it. Just deal with it.
Well, at least you made out unscathed.
I
didn't get any
yes.
rigatoni thrown at you.
No rigatoni.
No rigatoni. And we just got, by the way, on the off the AP wire here that rigatoni is a form of tube-shaped pasta of varying lengths and diameters. They're larger than penne and ziti and sometimes slightly curved. Well, that could be a couple things. Though nowhere near as curved as elbow macaroni. Oh, that was good that they put that thing in there. But yeah, all right, yeah. So you got no rigatoni thrown at you, and that was the main thing that was going on.
That was a positive. Otherwise, great event. But Bernie Sanders people, just get on whatever bandwagon you're going to get on and move on, please.
Now, Jonesy, besides the DNC thing, and you got to catch me up on that when we kind of see each other in person, but can you update me this past week? There was this whole Instagram update that happened this past week because I need to be hip like the kids have it. So I need to be and I don't Snapchat. We've talked about this before. Like there's certain I'm as dangerous as I can with Twitter. I don't do the Facebook, and I do Twitter and basically Instagram, and that's it. And they're kind of under assumed characters, shall we say? But there's an Instagram update that I need to be aware of that apparently RIP Snapchat was trending this week. So get me hip to the scene here.
So about midway through the week, Instagram did an update where they have included something called Instagram Stories.
All right.
And Instagram stories literally is Snapchat. It's so instead of you just posting a picture, posting a video now, you can still do all the stuff that you normally could do with Instagram. But now there's more or less, for lack of a better term, the Snapchat component to it as well. So you can, quote, add a story and have it live on Instagram for 24 hours, just like Snapchat does. And after 24 hours, it disappears. Unless
it's the same thing then.
It literally is the same thing. I would have actually loved it if they just called it like Insta Chat or something, or Insta Snap.
Like it's just kind of like
and
right in their face.
Yeah, and just been like, look, we stole the concept, and now we're just going to steal a part of the name.
No, I think, what is it? Facebook owns Snapchat. Is that what's going on there?
I'm not sure the whole schematics with who owns what at this point, because it seems a little bit confusing.
Almost as confusing as the rigatoni escapades that are obviously being talked about and bandied about in the media.
Yes. Dude, it does suck that it's like the same thing. I know some people are in like a battle. Oh, I don't know what to do. Should I stay on Snapchat? Should I go to Instagram stories? It's a confusing time for people who are heavy duty social media users.
Oh, you got to pick one. It's like beta VHS. Got to dedicate yourself to the format, bro.
Yeah, well, and I think that's going to be the interesting thing, because I've seen so many people put up Instagram stories where they're complaining about Instagram stories, and they're saying, man, this is stupid, I'm not going to use it. And then you check like maybe less than 24 hours later, and they just put up more stories. I thought you said you weren't going to use this.
Wow.
So in a nutshell, that's what it is. It's a takeoff of Snapchat.
Well, I appreciate the update now, and it's time now to let's switch gears and let's get to some pop culture stuff that's going on out there, because there's a whole bunch of other crap that's been going down in the good old world of good old news and entertainment.
ICYMI, in case you missed it.
All right, time to catch you up on what's going on in pop culture here. Sharon Osbourne broke her silence on her husband's Ozzy Osbourne's addiction during an episode of The Talk, telling her co-host and viewers that she's proud of the efforts he's making to get better. In May, Sharon and the rest of the Osbourne family discovered that Ozzy had been having a sexual relationship with his hairstylist, Michelle Pugh. Now, difficult though the situation might be, however, Sharon, age 63, seemed determined to hang on to her sense of humor, noting that her rocker husband should, quote, call Tiger Woods for some advice. Dude, I mean, like, not for nothing, but who is sleeping with Ozzy Osbourne at this point, right?
I'm calling BS on this story.
Like,
I'm calling total BS on this story because, okay, I'm supposed to believe that Ozzy Osbourne has sex addiction.
I don't get it, man. I mean, does that mean that he goes to porn? Is that what it is?
I mean, I think we need
Sharon.
Well, okay, I'm glad you did that, because that's what he was in 1999 or whenever that show came out. I don't remember when the show came out.
Yeah, well, it's probably going to come back now, but we'll tell you that in a second.
But he just like kind of putters along, and he can barely talk. It seems like he has sex addiction problems.
Yeah, I think I think that's another word for porn. I really don't think, like, if you're Michelle Pugh, I mean, not for nothing, it's probably a young chick, obviously, that kind of sees something here. And, you know, there is always that story. We did this Rolling Stone story last week, or 2 weeks ago. But, in this case, I'm sure it's the same thing. But doesn't there have to be some attraction there, though, dude? Like, is Ozzy Osbourne an attractive dude? Not there's anything wrong with that if you're into like that kind of stuff. But I mean, just saying, like, she'd have to physically be into him. And I don't understand it.
It doesn't. None of this seems logical at all.
Yeah, well, maybe Ozzy Osbourne shaky hands does something for her, something like that. If you know what I mean.
Oh my God! and the other line in this story that kills me is he should call Tiger Woods for some advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, based off of what we know of the Tiger Woods situation, it's not anything like this.
Oh no, Tiger was in a lot deeper.
Yeah, Tiger was in it.
So if he was in a lot there. But so there's one thing that we can learn from the Tiger Woods situation is that Ozzy's golf game is going to go right to hell. Because that's exactly what's happened to poor Tiger.
Yeah.
He's struggling.
It's weird. He went on the straight and narrow, and his life has been, at least on the course, has been a mess since. It's really weird how that stuff works out. But I don't buy this story at all. But I just can't. I can't imagine a universe where Ozzy Osbourne is picking up women and doing that kind of thing.
He can barely wipe himself. You know what I mean? Like rather than like do a pickup line. I don't understand it. Right? Isn't that the case? That's how it is. That's the image they pitched to him on MTV was the man was incapable of like, and I'm sure some of that was shtick and stuff like that, but that's the way it goes. But Derek, let's get to some more, a story along the same lines as Ozzy Osbourne's sex addiction.
Yeah, this is pretty much the same thing. 3 longtime Sesame Street cast members have been axed from the long-running children's show. Bob McGrath, who played music teacher Bob, Emilio Delgado, who played the Fix-It shop owner Luis, and Roscoe Ormond, he was a science teacher. They've all been let go from the series. McGrath broke the news earlier this month in a Q&A at Florida SuperCon, but his comments only started getting attention recently after the Muppet Cast podcast posted the news. There's a Muppet Cast podcast?
I know. We should have them on, don't you think?
Oh, especially now.
Do you think that they're big in the left coast like we are?
No.
You're right.
I doubt it. McGrath, 84, has been with Sesame Street since it debuted in 1969. Delgado, 76, joined in 71. Meanwhile, Orman, 72, took over the role of Gordon in 1974, becoming the third actor in the role. The news comes a year after HBO and Sesame Workshop partnered to make the next 5 seasons of the iconic children's classic available on the network's platforms.
So, Jonesy, let me ask you a question real fast. What do you think smells worse, Bob McGrath or some of these old Muppets?
Oh, good God Almighty!
1970s. I mean, sorry. No, I. This is a very sad story for yours truly.
No, it's not. What are you talking? What are you fooling? You just said McGrath smells bad. Poor Bob McGrath probably puts on Right Guard every day and or maybe some Old Spice or something, and you're out here throwing him under the bus.
Exactly. And when his female counterparts are wearing their Gina Tay, you know what I'm saying? And so soaking in the bath, but now poor Bobby and Louise are thumbing it on the street price, selling smack just to keep their food on the table.
Selling smack. These are upstanding members of Sesame Street. Well, used to be members, and now you're saying they're selling smack on the streets.
They gotta make a living somehow, don't they?
Well, yeah, and this is look. It had to end for them at some point.
Yeah,
because if you look at the ages, 84, 72, and 76. I mean, that's up the food chain, my friend.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
So you gotta cut the cord at some point.
I guess it was just bad the way they did it. Now they've since retracted since this story broke. When it broke last week or whatever it is. Again, no, there's no breaking news in the podcast world, at least as far as we're concerned. But when this first broke, there was so much outrage over these 3 going because, as you mentioned, they've been around forever. They've now kind of retracted their statements. They've put a statement out the other day saying, oh, well, we're probably going to mix them back in because they've been such an important role and it probably could have been handled a little bit better. It was a bad PR move, dude. It was a bad PR move that way. So they're going to try to evolve them back in the show. I don't know what that means. Like, are they going to give Oscar the day off and have Bob pop out of the trash can once in a while? Oscar took off today. He's off set or he's on strike or something like that. Next thing you know, his trash man Bob or, Louise or something like that coming out of the box.
Good God. Bob, we're going to get sued by Bob McGrath. We're going to get a cease and desist.
He's apparently the only one touring because apparently, Emilio here. So he's the music teacher. Bob was the music teacher. Emilio was the Fix-It shop owner.
Right.
And you said Roscoe was the science teacher. Science teacher going. I don't remember them having those distinguished roles. Do you remember that? I don't remember. No. I remember Emilio fixing stuff. I don't remember Gordon being a science teacher on there.
No, I wasn't a big Sesame Street person growing up. I just
watched Miami Vice while the rest of us were watching Sesame Street.
Yeah, I'm watching that real stuff, man. I'm not watching that Big Bird kids stuff.
You're here I am learning my ABCs, and you're there watching, people do lines of cocoa for hookers. You know what?
I'm watching Melanie Griffith play a madam on a television show. That's what I was watching.
Here's another bottle.
I was watching that at the tender age of 9.
C. Today's show is brought to you by letter C for cocaine. Okay, great. That's great.
Yeah, that was my substitute, I guess, for Sesame Street.
There's no context for Sesame Street for you.
Not really. I mean, I like Cookie Monster because I thought he was cool.
Yeah.
Big Bird didn't resonate with me. I just wasn't. Seemed like a nice cat, but I just didn't.
He didn't do anything for you. How about Snuffleupagus? He's probably got the. He probably got Das boot too, didn't he? Actually, he did get the boot.
Yeah.
I'm just remembering that now. Look at this. All of a sudden, there's like I don't like a Rorschach test. I just got like burned on that one. They gave Snuffy the old heave ho a while back.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Where was the upheaval for that? They don't care about the freaking Muppet getting the axe, but all of a sudden you get these three gone.
It is interesting to me that there is outrage in 2016 about Sesame Street, which says something about the franchise.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's very sensitive, right?
Yeah, that says people still care about the show.
Mr. Hooper kick, man, that was like a punch in the gut.
It's a struggle when you lose some of these characters after seeing them, and almost in the cases for some people, that's who you grew up with.
Yeah,
and when they're gone, that's a part of your childhood's gone.
But yeah, the entrepreneurs that they are on Sesame Street, when Mr. Hooper kicked and was hard as a carp, they kept that store open, man, and just kind of threw somebody else in there and said, "Yeah, keep this thing running, son."
Yeah, this is a machine. We got to keep the
machine. Screw Hooper.
Yeah, we got to keep the machine rolling.
All right, well, let's keep it on the TV front here and talk about another station here. MTV, how about this? Remember MTV, Jones, when it was cool?
Of course.
So MTV, they're really going back to their roots. Recently, VH1 Classic was rebranded. Now, VH1 Classic used to be a separate station from MTV for folks with context here. MTV since purchased them now and are calling it MTV Classic. It's going to focus on some of the 90s programming now. So it's actually now the 90s are old, right? So officially, like, we are old, I guess, is what they're trying to say. But anyway, the change first teased earlier this month on Twitter by MTV Classic. They're going to relaunch as part of this big, like, 35th anniversary, some of their old shows. So see if you watched any of these. I know you were, because you watch a lot of TV, but so this past Monday, MTV Classic aired MTV Hour 1. It was the very first hour of programming that aired back in 81. So the station has now segued into a Total Request Live retrospective called the TRL Decade. We didn't have cable growing up. So once we got cable, I was one of those kids that kind of sucked into it right away. And I remember in college, TRL actually was on when back 97, 98, I think it kicked off about 98, I guess. That was my thing, man. It was like, a way to catch up on the music videos, I guess, at that time, or the hot music at that time, the pop stuff.
Yeah, I dug that show a lot. Carson Daly was pretty good.
Yeah, but then they moved it to the New York thing. That didn't freaking sail for me, and I bailed on it.
Yeah, what did they move it to? Like Times Square in that vicinity?
Times Square. And it became all these people freaking yelling in the background with their stupid signs and stuff like that. Like, nobody wants that. Anyway, so they have the MTV Classic. So they have that. They're going to actually bring back some of their MTV Unplugs, which is so cool. They got
absolutely
the Bob Dylan, Neil Young one. The best MTV Unplugged, and I give Jonesy all the credit for turning me on to this one, was Jay-Z's Unplugged album.
Yes.
Which is unbelievable. Like, it was so crazy good. He had the Roots band with him. I listened to that album like crazy. We were on some trip or something like that, and you put that on and told me about it, and I got to see it.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like that. May have been the trip we went to Fenway Park. I don't know.
Oh my God!
Some of these things
that was up.
Bleed together at some point.
I know. I'm surprised you're not sick of me by now.
Yeah,
but so that was.
I think it was like 2000. I think it was like 2003 or something like that.
It was. So they aired that one. That's worth checking out. Some of the primetime block. Get this. These are some of the cooler shows. They're going to remake Daria. Remember Daria?
Yes.
I wasn't a big Daria. I didn't really watch a lot of the primetime stuff here, but I know they're pretty good shows here. Beavis and Butthead's coming back.
And now let me tell you something.
I am the great Cornholio. I need a teepee for my bunghole.
Never flinched. Never.
Did you? I saw the movie. You didn't watch the movie?
The music was okay from the movie.
Oh, there's just the music. You don't like the
it just felt like it went over my head. It just didn't sink in for me. I don't know why.
I hear you. Well, it wasn't for everybody. It was just stupid, though.
It was.
and they brought back. They're going to bring back. So Pimp My Ride's coming back. That's going to be on at night. Cribs was one I was absolutely all about.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And then they're going to bring back some storytellers, and then they're going to start airing on Fridays. This is kind of cool because this was my jam too. The Real World and Road Rules.
Oh my God!
Yes. Weren't they the greatest things ever? Because that was kind of like the first look at reality TV.
Yeah, the early seasons of Road Rules, of The Real World, were just spectacular. Road Rules was very good too.
Remember, they would be like the exits, and they'd show them like in the airports who would leave first. They'd go their different directions. It was like emotional capture. It was like your sloppy mess after season 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
The Boston cast, real fast, and then we can move off of this because I know some people are probably like tuned out already. But the Boston cast, as much as I love Boston, that was a horrible season. They did Philly. Philly was okay. I thought by far one of the best was Seattle. I dug Seattle the most.
Seattle was good. Boston, was that Danny and Melinda?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I never got down with that guy.
No, he was always so angry.
Yeah,
That's the guy I'm thinking of.
Very mean dude. Very all these guys who get in relationships with the girls in the show, somebody challenges him and they get in a fight, and it's just a whole big thing.
Yeah. But it's good to have it all back. So MTV Classic is back. I'm interested in checking it out.
Well, speaking of checking things out, there is an NBA star who probably wish some people didn't check out something he did this past week. Last Sunday, Golden State Warriors power forward Draymond Green accidentally sent a picture of his penis in subpar lighting to all of his Snapchat followers. The picture stayed out in the Snapchat wilderness, as it were, for 10 minutes before he deleted it. And for days afterwards, his teammates, now remember, he is a part of the USA Olympic basketball team that's competing in the Summer Olympics in Brazil. They made fun of him for this. But here's the interesting thing.
Okay.
As if that's not interesting enough.
I was going to say, yeah. Is it the lighting? Is that what's the interesting part? It was subpar lighting. So if his penis were in better lighting, it probably would have been acceptable. Don't you just hate it when you snap a picture of your penis in bad lighting? It's always a waste.
That is a problem. It's an epidemic in this country. Green tweeted that he had been hacked.
Oh, stop it.
And then followed up by later saying that he can't win right now. Look, here's the deal, okay? Draymond Green, all right, not the nicest guy in the world. He actually got in a little scuffle with a Michigan State football player recently, and I believe they settled out of court with that situation, so he doesn't have to worry about any legal ramifications from that. But look, it's 2016, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Two things on this. Number one, I don't care if you're sending it to one person or to your 10 friends, your 100 friends. When you send this stuff out, somebody's going to use this against you.
Yep.
They're going to use it. There's no question about it. Somebody out there is going to use it against you.
Yep.
Crazy, a popular, rich NBA player would send this out to anybody. And here's the other thing, too. Guys, let me speak to the fellas for a second. If you need to send out those pictures
to
the ladies or to the guys, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
How do you do it?
How do I do it? I don't need to use that stuff. It's the element of surprise.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to say, well, why do you need to
some mystery, right?
Yeah, you don't know. Look, regardless of what your situation is, okay?
Yeah.
You don't know what the woman's thinking.
No.
You don't have any idea. So this thing,
she's probably thinking this is subpar lighting for this man's penis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a notable topic this weekend because Brett Favre is going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, And we all know that he went through
Yeah, he went there too.
He went there too.
I forgot about him.
Guys, if you're famous,
Yeah.
you definitely shouldn't be doing it.
No.
And
that's why we can get away with it.
No. We can't get away with it either.
Never mind then.
Yeah,
I'll take the picture down.
Don't do what?
No, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that. If you need to seal the deal by doing that, it's not worth it. Just abort mission, try another approach.
It's kind of like, because don't you think, to play the other side of it, isn't it kind of like, ruining the Christmas present, showing somebody their present before wrapping it? Like, don't you think like they want to be, they meaning the female wants to be somewhat surprised when they are in that general facility.
Well, that's a part of the experience.
Rather that facility.
But to your point though, that
keep this in the up and up. I guess I want to talk about this from all angles.
Well, yes, you are. You are attacking this from all angles, but I do think you, in all fairness, you need to use your head when you're doing this stuff.
Oh boy, careful now.
I'm just using a common phrase that's used.
Okay.
No coincidence. Well, I guess it is a coincidence.
I think it's a lot of coincidence.
But you got to think about this stuff.
Did I see that his mom also, by the way, retweeted it?
The mom retweeted one of his tweets. Not the
I thought you were saying his mom retweeted the penis picture. I was like,
no. That would be bizarre. That's going down the wrong road.
Excuse this. The lighting is typically better. He didn't have the wrong f-stop on the camera. This is not a really good representation of my son's penis. We will get another one out shortly.
Jeez. Yeah. Guys, just stop doing this. There's too many people. I can't believe people do this.
Yeah, well, that's hard.
I can't believe people do this.
Yeah, well, that was fantastic advice. So for all the fellas out there, yeah, fellas, hey, fellas, I don't know what that's from. That baby got back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know it.
Very good.
So the takeaway here, Jonesy, could you summarize it for him again one more time?
If you need to do this,
yeah,
you're doing it wrong. You're doing it all wrong. Go back to the drawing board.
And the other takeaway is 3-point lighting. If you're going to take a picture of your penis, okay, that's the other takeaway. 3-point lighting. Make sure you got backlight, something to fill it in with, and all like that stuff like that.
I am really excited to talk about this next story.
Yeah, let's do this. I don't know this one that well, so you'll have to fill me in on some of the detail.
A 41-year-old man named Alexander Sirk, I believe I'm saying that right, flew from his native Holland to China to meet a 26-year-old woman with whom he struck up an online relationship with 2 months earlier.
Which sounds like it's an amazing thing, right?
Yeah. This sounds like this is just going to end really well. Sirk believed his internet girlfriend, known only as Zhang, was going...
Zhang?
Yes. Zhang. That's
sorry,
correct.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting.
was going to meet him at Changsha Airport, but she wasn't there when he arrived, and she didn't show up over the next 10 days.
And he stays at the airport?
He stayed at the airport for 10 days.
Bro.
He lived at the airport. Now, here's where things really fall off the track here. He probably would have stayed there at the airport. However, he had to be taken to the hospital for physical exhaustion.
For what? For physical exhaustion?
Yes.
Yeah, well, he's not eating, sleeping properly and stuff like that. He's waiting for his Zhang.
And the real punch in the gut here is he flew home without ever meeting her.
Oh, no.
Never saw her.
I thought the story had a happy ending, Jonesy.
Nah.
No, so 10 days. He's got 10 days at the airport, and he's waiting for Zhang. So Sirk is waiting for Zhang.
Sirk is waiting for Zhang, yes.
At Changsha.
At Changsha, yes.
Is this a real story?
This is a real. It was reported by the BBC, baby. So that's real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So are you telling me that a long distance online relationship it didn't work?
It's I mean, I'm stunned.
It is unbelievable. Who do you really think her name is Zhang?
That's what they know her by.
Now, when you clipped the story, was there a picture of Zhang?
Yes.
And what do we think?
It was a little fuzzy.
Okay. Are
I
you
couldn't
being
get-
kind here
I
now?
couldn't
What does fuzzy mean? Is that, is that not on your radar? Is that what you're trying to say?
Hey, look, I'm not sitting in an airport for 10 days.
For Zhang, so
For
Zhang Zhang is not 10-day worthy.
I'm not sure.
Is she 5-day worthy?
I don't
Would you
know.
wait a hot minute? Could you wait while she's in the restroom? Would you wait or she stopped at like an Annie Ann's pretzel shop? Would you wait for Zhang to come out? Like, what's her look like?
The photo that was in there, notice how I'm dodging the question.
You are so. I, as we speak, I'm asking the interns to pull up a picture of Zhang. I'm just Googling the word Zhang because I can't imagine that there's anything else out there with Zhang. And don't you know that there's a bunch of Zhangs?
And the photo that
Zhang
was
Diva.
there was, I think she was wearing like some sort of patriotic tank top, or not tank top, but some sort of patriotic top.
Okay. Let's see if we can pull up a look here. You don't get this anywhere else. Well, not for nothing, but he looks a little shabby. I mean, like
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what he's catching.
Yeah, I don't. Not sure what happened here.
Okay, now so Zhang, for people at home, for people playing at home, we should post this picture. So Zhang's not bad looking, Jonesy. I don't.
She looks cute.
She's got a look about her. So patriotic. She's got the red. She's got this half shirt, or it's a regular shirt that she's kind of rolled up.
Yeah.
One side, I want to make sure we're talking about the right Zhang. There's so many out there. One side is red and white stripe, and the other side is the blue stars. And she's in some sort of pose, but she's got it together.
Here's my concern.
Yeah.
If you look at one of the pictures, now I don't know what picture you're looking at.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a picture of this guy looking at a picture of her on the phone.
Okay.
And if you look at the bottom of the photo, it says, I can't make out the website address, but it says something beauties.com.
Oh, see, I thought you were like fluent in Mandarin Chinese because I have some Chinese script over here.
No,
Or Asian script. I'm sorry. Is that the right word? I don't even know anymore.
just quit while you're ahead, my friend.
I got to stop with the red China stuff. I can't go there. But continue. I'm sorry.
Keep your eye on the ball.
Next thing you know, we're going to get these hate letters from anything. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I would be concerned about a catfish situation here, but in the story, they have quotes from Zhang.
Yeah. Oh, they have Zhang quotes.
Yes, there are quotes from Zhang.
What does she say? What does Zhang say?
She said he seemed a little callous towards her.
Oh, that doesn't seem like it's going to work. So why would...
In reference to him making a trip, she thought it was a joke. Now, one of the reasons why he could not get a hold of her was because she was in another province having cosmetic surgery.
Okay, so yeah, that's called This Isn't Real then.
Yeah, my man is
he's a dreamer.
Yeah, he was sold a bill of goods here.
Because I mean, he probably saw that picture like I saw that picture and was like, I can't afford to lose this, but because it's not a bad looking girl, but I think you're probably right. I think this probably is not real.
Well, he's out kicking the coverage.
He totally is,
Yeah.
and this is very likely that Zhang is probably not who she's representing herself to be on this picture. I cannot believe deception on the internet.
In online dating? That's Rob. That's unbelievable.
2016. It's freaking ridiculous.
That's remarkable.
Unbelievable.
Shocking.
Next thing you know, you're gonna have people throwing rigatoni at the president. It's stupid. But anyway, all right. Poor Zhang. Sorry. So our final go of the day here, and it is time for a Rio 2016 Olympic update. As we are now broadcasting during the opening ceremonies, we're going to be joined soon by our usual castmate here, Kaz, who is not with us. Usually it's a three-man booth here for the Exit 58 podcast, but he is anchoring our coverage south of the equator here. It is the equator there, right? That's what we have there, not the Mason-Dixon line. What is that? Is Rio de Janeiro south of the equator?
It's not the Mason-Dixon line.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. I wasn't good in geography back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Before we check in with Kaz, let's do our own sort of Olympic update here. So competitors taking part in some of the aquatic events at the Rio Olympics this month have been warned not to open their mouths to avoid catching serious illnesses from the polluted water. So now you got the Zeke, You have that super bacteria we talked about, and now you have polluted water. What a great Olympics. Health experts warned Olympic marathon swimmers, sailors, and windsurfers competing in Rio's Guanabara Bay, where a body was found floating in the lead up to the game, to be ultra careful as the waters are much more contaminated than previously thought. You think there's a freaking dead body in there?
This is the biggest mess ever. It's a complete joke. I can't believe the Olympics committee thought this was why? How did they approve this?
I don't understand it, because they're even saying there's raw sewage. So you're in there swimming around. I don't know what you're doing there. And next thing you know, you got a couple of floaters coming by. And
oh my God.
Like some doo-doo feces that are in the water. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. Like, how is that acceptable? That this is supposed to showcase, the location that you are. We all know that the Olympic Committee is shady, but you can't have a log flying past the guy that's got his mouth open. Like upstream, right, Jonesy? You can't.
No, you can't.
I mean, I could take this in so many directions, but I mean, you can't have that.
So when you and I were in college, we went to school with a young fella. I didn't know him well. I think you knew him better than I did.
Okay.
Siafa Lewis.
Oh, yeah, Siafa Lewis. I know Siafa. Yeah.
Siafa is covering the Olympics right now.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's out there. So I'm friends with him on Facebook.
He's not covering stories about raw sewage and people eating their own poop.
I can't confirm if he is or not.
No, this podcast is though.
But he did post
a
picture of what he's doing out there and all this stuff. And one of the pictures he posted was he was on the beach and floating in from the water.
Oh no,
a dead fish.
No way.
A dead fish.
Yeah.
Had basically washed ashore from the beach.
And and here's the thing. And so that so the thing didn't survive. And fish die. We get it. Fish die. But the fish do their business down there, right?
Yeah.
So now you have dead bodies. You have fish poopy, right? and now you're adding this whole other element where you're taking your big breath and you start to get a mouthful of piss. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
I don't understand how the Olympic committee said, this is a good idea.
That's not fluoride from the dentist office, my friend.
Exactly. That's right. One of the rings is yellow in the Olympic logo, but that's for a totally different reason. All the Olympics, all rings now this year will be brown and yellow. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because the certain schools out there have great colors.
Watch it there. Watch where you're going.
I apologize for that, but yeah, I mean, this is just like the nastiest thing ever. You just can't have this. I don't understand this, and between this and, like we said, the other issues, this whole fiasco. Because look, and for the opening ceremonies, I'm sure Kaz might touch on this, but in case he doesn't, the news that came out today as we record this during the opening ceremony is that Pele, who was going to light the opening ceremony torch, the famous soccer player, has bagged out, man. And he quote unquote is due to illness.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
really?
I'm sure he was probably sitting somewhere and he saw a piece of something float by him or something like that.
Now he's kind of busy right now, obviously. Tom Brady is married to one of the most famous people, obviously, of Brazilian descent.
Okay.
The lovely Gisele will be at the Olympics and I believe participating in the opening ceremony, although her original gig got scrapped.
So is she going to be like swimming in doo-doo butter?
No, but they had her being robbed by a quote black boy.
Oh my god!
According to a press story.
This is great.
It was scrapped.
This is unbelievable.
It was scrapped. Yeah, it was scrapped, thankfully. But I think had he, if he were not dealing with training camp right now, he may need to intervene on this and say, hey, maybe you need to sit this one out.
Oh, were you saying that Pele was busy? I'm trying to wonder what happened to Pele.
No, Pele's not busy.
I was going to say, Pele's got another damn thing to do, right?
Yeah, Pele.
What's he doing? He's just sitting around waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah, Pele's not busy.
I mean,
Gisele is busy. Pele, not so much.
His phone finally rings, And they're like, hey, yeah, Pele, yeah. Can you do the Olympics? Yeah. His phone finally rings, and it's a call to go down to where like there's super bacteria. And if he's already, closer to the end than the beginning, he's on borrowed time. And next thing you know, you're kind of like going into dangerous waters. I don't think so.
No. I think everyone needs to get out of it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's too late now, obviously.
I for our sake, I hope our buddy Kaz is okay down there.
We will find out shortly.
We're going to have more of your Olympic update coming up after this break. We're officially your unofficial home for the Rio Olympics 2016. Back after this.
Welcome to the Exit 58 podcast.
People need to stop having vaginal intercourse with the Rolling Stones at once.
In Arizona, one of the locations listed in the app to quickly capture a large number of Pokemon is the Windsor Hotel. Now get this. The hotel turned halfway house for dozens of repeated sex offenders is on the historic list of places in Arizona, which is why the Pokemon Go app accidentally selected it as a beacon location, whatever the hell that means. So now you have all these like adults and kids apparently going to this sex offender, basically like Comic-Con and going there to capture like Pokemon. I don't understand this game at all.
Maybe Mick Jagger's former girlfriend was doing Pokemon Go and she died.
And she didn't even know what was going on probably when they got
She wasn't playing the game. She was actually just chasing the Pokemon.
Maybe that's how she got pregnant with.
I think I know where the Pokemon went. Let's see what happens when I do this here. I think the Pokemon's right here.
Yeah, he definitely released his Pokeball, that's for sure. All right.
I don't even know what that means, but it's funny.
For more of the Exit 58 podcast, head to SoundCloud.com and search Exit 58 Podcast. Subscribe to the Exit 58 Podcast on iTunes and Stitcher by searching Exit 58 Podcast. Off the exit.
Folks, this is very exciting and certainly a first for the show, and I have no idea how we're going to pay for this since we don't officially have sponsors or a budget for the podcast, but on the phone right now, reporting live from the opening ceremonies of the 2016 Summer Olympic Games is the third member of our podcast team, Mark Kaz. Mark, how's it going down there in Rio?
Hey, Derek. Hey, Rob. Good to be with you. Then again, it's good to still be breathing air and having control over my bowels. I'm not sure how long that's going to last, but we'll play it by ear, I guess.
Oh, my. It's that bad, huh?
Let me put it to you this way. I was less afraid for my life when I got lost in South Central last summer. Remember that? And I had to stop and ask directions to Mark Furman's house.
Kaz, why don't you describe for our audience what you're seeing right now? This is, of course, a very historic moment for the show. We'd like to bring the pageantry of the Olympics to life for our listeners.
Sure. Well, right now we're in the midst of the Parade of Nations. It's one of the true highlights of the entire Olympiad, of course. We're about 45 minutes in, and we're up to Thailand, believe it or not, which is the 185th nation out of 207 that are participating. Suffice to say, the ceremonies are a bit more brisk this time than in years past.
Wow, it sounds like the Rio Committee actually planned things pretty well there, Kaz.
Well, not exactly. I'm sorry to say we told you so, but I'm going to do it anyhow. You listening to this, Jones? The reason the opening ceremony is nearly finished in under an hour is because each nation is represented by just a small handful of athletes. Hell, friggin' China's entire Olympic team consisted of 4 people.
4? What do you mean?
Well, you see, Derek, the human body tends to react badly when it ingests water and food containing feces and contaminated blood, for instance. And there's that other thing. It's a special word. Starts with a Z. Rob, help me out here, man.
the Zeke. So the Big Z pretty much had its way with some of the best athletes in the world there, eh?
Well, those that weren't raped, kidnapped, or murdered over the past few days are mostly bedridden at this time with any number of symptoms of Zika. It's a terribly grisly scene when you stop. Oh my God. The single representative from Tonga just collapsed. Poor guy. He was thinner than the flagpole he was holding.
Good grief! Another Zika victim?
No. Why do you ask? Wait a minute. The representative from Uganda just left the procession and ran up to the Olympic podium. Guys, this is unprecedented behavior. Now, from my vantage, I can't tell, but it's certainly possible she's being swarmed by deadly Zika-carrying mosquitoes. Stand by. She's coming to the microphone right now. And there you have it. I hope our microphones were able to capture that. The Uganda delegation has made its statement and appear now to be leaving the venue.
Kaz, do we have any idea what that woman said? Has a translation been posted yet in the arena?
Stand by, Derek. I'm getting it now. Okay, here's the direct translation from the IOC. And I'm quoting now. We are getting the blank out of this hellhole. Our village in Uganda is the Four Seasons compared to this, and we have no electricity, and we drink the goat's bathwater. I have been bitten by so many mosquitoes that my face looks worse than that terrible singer, Seal. Peace out, idiots. End quote.
Sounds like things are getting a little out of hand there, Kaz. Maybe you should try to get to a safe place for the night.
You don't have to ask me twice. I haven't pooped this much blood since all-you-can-eat prime rib at Golden Corral. Oh, wait a minute. Now this is interesting. This is something I've never seen before. The rowing team from Zambia are doing some sort of choreographed dance? Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm being told. Oh, God, can it be? I was just informed by the AP that it's not a dance. Dear God, the athletes from Zambia are, well, they're actually zombies now. They all passed away last night.
Kaz, buddy, we're going to let you get going. If you live through the night, try to give us another update tomorrow morning, okay?
You got it, buddy. Hey, thanks for the invite, boys. It's been real. Oh, let me get one last nation in before I sign off, all right? This is going to be a good one. The refugee Olympic athletes have just made their way into the arena. Now, these are the athletes who left their war-ravaged homelands due to some sort of Oh, my God.
Sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Whoa, Derek! Sounds like our little Kaz is could be in some harm's way there.
Well, I'm currently looking, as we are taping this,
Yeah.
I am looking at the opening ceremonies, and I see Giselle swinging her arms back and forth. This is a pretty wild scene. So I hope Kaz is okay. Hopefully he can get back home unscathed. But otherwise...
And poop free. Hopefully he's got no poop.
Well, we may be taking auditions for a third member of the trio here starting next time around in the next episode because by the sounds of that, oh my heavens.
I know, man. Well, if you do want to try out, you can visit. This is a good segue. You can visit us on Twitter at Exit50A Podcast and send in your audition tapes to Exit50A Podcast at gmail.com. Or you can hit us up on what else we do there, Facebook. I never remember. You would think I'd freaking write this down.
Well, you can't remember it because you're not on Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook. I don't. We always go through all this stuff. But yeah, so we're out there. So if you'd like to be the third member of the show, just in case Kaz doesn't make it back from Rio alive. Now, what do we think that if possible, can we touch base with Kaz? Maybe we can get a better connection and see if he can check in later in the week or so.
We can try that to see if he is okay. I have not heard from him.
Of course, for the welfare and the betterment of the show, obviously.
Yes, I keep looking at my phone, hoping he'll text or something. Yeah. He has not yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, they're an hour ahead of us, so maybe he doesn't know yet. Maybe he doesn't know the trouble's coming. Well, he knows trouble's coming. He's been there, so
He has his hands full. There's no question about it. Check us out on iTunes as well by searching Exit 50A Podcast. We're on Stitcher, so we're all over the place in terms of social media and podcasting platforms. So we're out there, and I even hear a rumor that you may be able to find our episodes soon on YouTube. We're going full
on
Monty.
YouTube?
Yes, full Monty.
Wow, dude. So yeah, we're absolutely. We might get Canada listeners soon.
Yes, we are trying to conquer the world, even Brazil at this point.
Well, YouTube. So what is so is a YouTube a thing now? I guess.
Yeah, podcast episodes end up on YouTube. So many people, since I guess random folks were just uploading shows.
Yeah.
The people who are hosting it or the companies that are hosting it are saying, you know what, we're just going to put them up.
Oh man, that's a good deal. So that's cool. So our marketing department hard at work here. I like it on the Exit 58 podcast.
They never rest.
Yeah, they do never rest. So we hope you had as much fun on this puppy as we have had in this episode. Hopefully Kaz comes back for the good next one, right? We hope he's back safe and sound, and check us out on all those social media sites. But for Derek and hopefully Kaz, you've been listening to the Exit 50A podcast. Later days, everybody.
See ya.